Today, we're going to deconstruct the powerful narrative of the song Hall of Echoes. What starts as this story of just stark imprisonment, well, it evolves into something so much deeper, a profound, almost unsettling statement on how love and memory can become the ultimate cage when everything else is stripped away.
Right away, the song just drops us into this incredibly cinematic, isolating image. Before you know anything else, you can almost feel that cold floor and see that one lonely light. It's a world that's been stripped down to its barest elements, and it sets this really stark and somber stage for everything that's about to happen.
And this is really the central question that guides our entire analysis. It's the core conflict of the entire story. How can something as beautiful and personal as a memory get twisted into the very bars of a prison? That's what we're here to figure out.
Okay, so first things first, we need to understand the physical reality our narrator is in. Section 1 is all about the architecture of his isolation, the world that's been built specifically to break him.
The use of the word kingdom here is just so brilliantly ironic. A kingdom implies power, right? Dominion. But this is a kingdom of nothing. The only things the protagonist rules over are concrete, emptiness, and whatever lies brought him to this place.
This here details the calculated sensory deprivation he's going through. This isn't just about being locked up. It's an environment that's designed to literally starve the mind. The only sound is a scraping tray. The only way to tell time is by the hunger in your stomach. It's a systematic attempt to erase a person by erasing their entire world. So let's move on to section 2, because this is where things get really interesting. When the external world is silenced, the internal world starts to scream, and we start to see memory not as a comfort, but as an intrusion.
This line, this is the crucial turning point. That haze of isolation is suddenly pierced, but it's not by an escape, not by a rescuer. No, it's pierced by a memory. The protagonist's own mind has just become the new stage for this entire drama. Just look at the richness here. You've got sound, sight, touch. This is everything his concrete kingdom is not. These memories are so vivid, so full of life, that they stand in this stark opposition to the emptiness of his cell. And that's where the real conflict begins.
Which leads us to the core paradox of the entire song. How does this beautiful, life-affirming memory get twisted into an instrument of torture? This section is all about that very weaponization.
The song gives us this incredibly cynical definition. See, the system calls it mental isolation. And they try to frame it as this humane alternative to, a traditional prison. But the narrator just rips that idea apart. He exposes the truth. This so-called kindness is a calculated cruelty, an iron grip on the mind itself that's way more invasive than any physical chains could ever be. So these memories, they aren't just pleasant daydreams. They're relentless. They become so intense, so all-consuming, that they literally overwrite his reality. The protagonist isn't really in a cell anymore. He's trapped inside the visions themselves.
This lays out the paradox perfectly. On the one hand, you see the memory as a source of comfort, of mercy, but then on the other, those exact same details become these instruments of pain. Her smile becomes suffocating. Her vibrant presence drowns out his reality. It's the same memory, providing both profound comfort and unbearable pain, sometimes in the very same moment.
So, how do you survive something like that? Well, Section 4 marks this critical shift. This is where our narrator moves from just passively suffering to actually understanding the nature of his torment. This question from the song's bridge, this is his moment of epiphany. He starts to reframe his entire ordeal. What if the point isn't just to inflict pain? What if the sentence is to be trapped in a love that he can never, ever escape? It's such a subtle but profound shift in his perspective. And with that epiphany comes this dawning, chilling horror. He realizes this torture wasn't random at all. It was surgical. His captors found his deepest love, his greatest vulnerability, and they specifically targeted that. They weaponized the one thing he would give a lifetime for. And this brings us to what he calls the quiet curse. But notice the verb he chooses, serve. He's not just enduring this sentence anymore, he is actively choosing to serve it. By accepting this endless loop of longing, he reclaims this tiny sliver of agency. It's a grim acceptance, for sure, but it is acceptance. And that acceptance, that choice, leads us to the song's incredibly powerful resolution. This is the final transformation where the protagonist completes this journey from a prisoner to a sovereign of his own internal world. Here, in the final chorus, you can feel the full acceptance of the memory's dual nature. He's not fighting the paradox anymore. He acknowledges that her presence is both a blessing and a curse, that it is both sweet and cruel. He holds both of those truths at the same time. And this is the setup for his final defiant statement. It's such a powerful premise that just hangs in the air, a full acknowledgement of the enemy's strategy and their chosen weapon. And there it is, the breathtaking reversal. He takes the very weapon that was used against him, his love for her, and he forges it into a crown. He transforms his mental prison into a throne room, and he decides he's going to rule. The tool of his destruction becomes the symbol of his power. So that's the incredible arc of this story. A journey that starts in a physical, concrete cell designed to break him, goes through this unimaginable psychological torture, and ends in a state of dark internal rule. He has conquered the only kingdom he has left. And that's really the final thought this song leaves us with. It forces you to ask, what does freedom really mean? Is it the absence of walls, or is it the power to build a throne within them? It's a fascinating look at the unconquerable nature of the human spirit and the power of love to endure, not just as a comfort, but as a weapon and as a crown.